How's it, guys? Sorry for the late start. We had a bit of a glitch on the Facebook side. I think the permissions or something changed. But anyway, welcome to another edition of Getting to Grips, brought to you by Godox SA and Golden Power Batteries. All right, so today's show is probably not the same as the YouTube title. It's all about taking pictures of black products on black backgrounds. Because of the technical hitch, we had to quickly start up the YouTubes, make sure they were getting online, but we're getting there. All right, so TL60s. It's a set of 4 tubes in a case. That's what we actually have in studio, and that's what we're going to try and sort of light up a product in a way that it's actually pleasing and looking cool and sort of high-end for any type of website or brochure or anything like that. So these are the lights I'm going to be using. So I've got 4 of these, but what products are we going to be shooting with? So our product that we're going to be shooting is going to be 2. So we've got the X Pro 2 trigger, and the reason I chose this one is because it's actually got a nice shape to the actual trigger itself. Now, companies pay lots of money in design when they're designing their products. So this is actually got quite nice. It's got a bit of a curve. It's got the Bluetooth logo. We've got the actual product logo that's actually on the front here. We've got buttons that are raised. So all of these important things on the trigger need to actually be lit, or make sure they're actually lit up in a way that we can actually see them online or in a print or anything like that. The other product I'm going to be shooting will be the V1 mid. So this one is actually, it's quite a nice, it's got the round head, obviously the V1 round head. So we're going to make sure that we actually capture the flat where the actual name of the product is, the rim lights down the side, making sure we can see USB ports. And what I'm going to be doing as well is turning on the screen of this when we shoot this one, so we can actually see the color screen as well. So we'll see if we can get that in camera on the shot. I'm going to put this down here. So let me get our first light in, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be shooting from this angle. So you'll see that my camera is right up in the air here, so I'm going to be shooting downwards to capture the top of the actual image. The lens I'm actually using is actually my 180mm macro, a Canon lens. It's f3.5, and I'm going to be shooting around about f11 at 60th of a second on the actual shutter. So I'm around about 1 or maybe 2 meters, 2.1 meters away. So I should get everything within focus on the actual product itself. You can do things like focus stacking and all that type of thing, but I'm just really concerned about today is how can we light this up with 4 tubes and get it looking really, really cool. So I'm going to get the first stand set up. Let's get the first light in. Let us know where you're watching from if you manage to connect online. So the stand I've got here is a Silenz stainless steel. You can get these from Golden Power Batteries. And you can use my code and stuff on that if you want to go shopping at GPB. Oh, and also if you want to buy any gifts for my birthday today, you're more than welcome to use my coupon codes and go wild, and I will send you the address you can deliver to, or I can pick it up when I go through. It's not a problem. All right, I've also got a little short boom arm, which is also from Golden Power Batteries, which you can actually get. Then I've just got the plastic clip for the actual tube on the end of the boom. Alright, our first tube. What I'm going to do before I actually get this in position, I'm actually going to show you, I've got a camera that's actually set up over here, which is sort of very dark. It's not quite the same as what my camera is actually set up to look at, but it actually does block out a lot of the light, so we can actually show you as I move the light, how the actual product is actually being lit up. So we can actually go across to that super source, yes, and show you this. Okay, so I can bring the light actually round and move it around, bring it away closer, and sort of find a sweet spot. So with this first light, what I'm going to be doing is I want to actually be able to light up the actual name of the actual product. Then I also want to get a bit of the actual dial that is actually on the top of the actual trigger as well, just to give me the first light. I'm going to bring the stand in here and clip in the tube. Okay, let's see. And this is gonna, I'm just sort of looking at where this light is falling. Okay. So that'll be the first light. I'm just gonna put my glasses on and actually look on the comfort monitor here. Yep, we've got just enough light to come in on the actual dial. We've got the actual product name as well on there, so that is cool. Next light we're going to do is obviously bring down in on the side. So I'm going to bring another tube that's going to come down to light up the side and give me a line of light actually around this side of the thing, because we've got to basically create what we can actually see. So we're all probably going to be sort of around about there, and that's where we're going to probably mount our next light, and then we'll just build this jigsaw puzzle light by light. So just bringing up a C-stand. And we'll get this one sort of in play here. I'll probably adjust this one a bit more. But let's get this light clipped in. And then we can bring this over there. I might just adjust these a little bit just to get that in. Make sure I'm lighting up the side and the light. So we're going to add in a lot more stuff. So we're just going to build these different lights up step by step. Third light we're going to need is definitely in on this back edge, and then we're going to make sure that we light up these section of the buttons and try and get as much, sort of a little bit of light actually coming across the actual face of. Let's get another tube. And let's get another stand. So we're going to be looking at probably sort of there as we build that one up. Because we want to be able to basically light up and have the visible Bluetooth, because it is a feature of the actual product. And do it there. We'll come round and we'll see. So we're looking at probably around about there. So let me grab Let me grab another stand. Then I've just got a plastic clip in there as well, which we can bring forward. Just going to tighten this plastic clip, which is a come loose on that. And then we bring this one forward. Now you're probably thinking, Carl, but this is all hard light. Yeah, it is a lot of hard light, but there's things that you can actually use, which I actually get some of this material that I can use, and I can actually just strap that actually on to that to create a bit of a diffused light. I mean, these tubes are diffused a bit, but you can get some material like this and strap them on to actually make the light a bit softer. Alright, so we've got now a bit of side light. We've definitely got the buttons lit up. Now we need another light to come across the top. Let me get my next stand. The biggest challenge is actually finding how to place your stands. To be honest, it's like, it can be a bit hectic. Alright, just tighten this one off. Alright, let's get the other one in place. This will be our fourth tube, but there'll be one little trick that we'll be adding in. Okay, so if we can have a look at, let's get another screen up. Okay, so we've got that. I think the camera is a little bit brighter than what I'm going to be shooting. If I just maybe do that a little bit, it will give us that. All right, so we've got light on the top. We can definitely sort of make sure that we can see the Bluetooth logo. We've got light down the side, we've got light coming across the buttons, and we've also got light coming over the side, but we do have a piece missing here. Not worried about totally underneath, because we're going to be shooting actually from the top. So we've got a bit of light that's actually missing here. Now we won't add another light, but we will definitely add so I actually have these. They are silver on the one side. I've also got gold ones where they actually have this. I use a lot of this in the product photography, and it has white on the back. So we're going to bring in our white card there, and the white card should be soft enough to actually give us that. So I'm going to try and take a shot, but I will need my box. because I've got to try and reach up to the top of my camera. Okay, right, if we can have the camera view up, and that'll be number 7. Alright, as you can see, without any light, I was getting the black screen up, and now I've got all these lights on. As I said, I'm shooting at f11, 60 of a second, 200 ISO. Let's see what we get. Just arrowed. Oh, there you go. So it's actually going to it. So that is the shot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try and see if I can zoom in on this. So there you go. We've got all the buttons lit up. We've got all the things. We got the bounce board, and the only thing I didn't do is add in the screen. Now the screen, what you can do is, before you actually set up all this lighting, you can actually take a picture of the screen and maybe drop your shutter speed down, leave it at f11, take a picture of the screen. I've got lots of these screens that are already that I've taken before. My screen's a bit scratched, so I'll just replace it in post-production. So if we look at that one piece of light that is on this one side here, it's quite harsh. So what we can do is we can just strap a piece of diffusing material. I'm just going to see if I can get this right, just to show you the difference. Alright, let me get this one. Okay, so let's just go back to the lighting setup there. The other so with the diffusing piece of material, we should have a bit of a softer light that is actually coming on the side. Now you can buy this material. I actually bought it from a material shop just down the road from us, and you can actually use that and just put on whatever lights you want to actually soften some of that actual light down. I'm going to take stands. Now I just move my light. The stand is gonna get in the way. Let's just make sure we got that position back. And we got a position back there. I'm gonna watch that stand now. There you go. I'm actually gonna put a sandbag right there. Right. Caution, man at work. Alright, so we got the diffusing material on there. I'm going to take another shot. And right, let's get that other window up. Okay, so we've definitely got a bit of diffusion now on, see how much softer this light is here compared to that light there. This is with the diffusion material, that's with the hard hard lights, diffusion material. So it definitely softens the light nicely, and that you can actually do on a lot of the actual product around. The top one is actually quite far back, so the actual light is not an issue there, but you can actually soften it more if you want. But I wanted to make sure that we actually got the Bluetooth logo showing. Wanted to make sure that the buttons were actually visible and readable, and obviously the logo. And excuse all the scratches on my X Pro 2 screen. It's been through a lot, this one. Okay, so it was actually quicker than I thought. Alright, so that is lighting up a trigger. It's quite straightforward, and as I said, the post you can actually drop in the light screen in post-production. I think if we just go back onto the other camera view, if we can go onto the live setup, and I'm going to just try and put the screen on. So you can't really see the screen from that angle, but if I did that, you would have to literally take a shot of the screen and then drop it in afterwards. So that is as simple as it is. Obviously, you can actually spend hours doing this. I normally do this with Flash, and I build up like maybe 5, 6 different lights, big diffusion panels, all that type of stuff to sort of do these type of shots. But you can do it on a smaller budget by using some TL60s and buying some diffusion material that you can actually put over the light. Alright, so let me turn these off, because now we're going to actually do a couple of setups on the actual Flash. And that should be quite an interesting one, because I want to get the screen actually visible on that. Now, which one do I take out first? Let's see. This one. Let's move the sandbag. Okay. So there will be a slightly different setup on the Flash, and if anyone's wondering why I'm shooting on top of a block, it's so I can just get obviously the lights that I need to light from below. I need to make sure my lights can actually get there, so the black block just helps to lift everything up. And let's take this one, put that one underneath. And we're going to put in our Flash. Now the Flash is a bit longer. I may need to adjust the one camera just now. But we need to actually be able to light up the full side of this Flash. So we're going to actually turn our lights actually more around this way. And I might even put another knuckle on the end of this one. So I often have a bag of goodies that actually sits in here. So I've got lots of these, and we have lots of these little spigots, so we can actually get this. Let me just unplug this one. Any questions so far? Who's watching? Is anyone watching? I'll be glad. I mean, on my birthday I would at least like at least 2 people to be watching the stream, but we will see. Alright, So we get this one in. Actually, what I'm going to do is actually put this one in on. So guys, where are you watching from? Let's find out while I'm setting this up and getting these lights set up. What do you think of the X1 trigger or the X2 or the X Pro 2 trigger setup? I think it was quite cool. It just happened a lot faster than I thought it would. So okie dokie, so we're gonna put in a tube and I'm gonna almost set it up as almost like a rim light. So we should actually have enough to come in there. Let's switch this one on. Alright, so that one is on. Let me have a look at the other screen there, Talia, so I can sort of position this light in place. I think the super source with that's the one. Okay. And I'm going to adjust that camera actually. I'm going to drop the tube down a bit. And I'm just going to zoom this camera out a bit and drop it down a little bit because we got the different size. Whoop. Okay. I think that should be enough there. You can see as we bring light actually in closer, it's going to be very, very bright. So we don't want anything that bright. So we can actually move it. You can either adjust the power of the actual light itself or just move the light around, because just even by turning the tube in the plastic, it should actually change the light a bit. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to start off there. We'll probably play around and change it up a bit. Next one I want to make sure we get actually light in on the actual top. So we've got the light coming in on the side. We definitely need light coming in around the top. So that's creating almost like a rim light. And I'm just going to make this one a little bit lower. I'm just going to move these stands out the way a bit. Right. Let's see what we're looking at there. Just maybe turn it a little bit. Just want to check the top. Alright, so we've got a bit of rim light there. Next thing I need to do is actually also bring in another side light. I'm going to leave this one diffused for now. And see how it goes. Right. Let's turn this one on. So this has now got the actual diffused light on there, so we can actually probably bring it a little bit closer. And what I'm going to be doing here is actually trying to actually get the one side at least lit up on here, give a bit of shape on there, and then we're going to bring in another one which is actually going to light up basically everything from this bottom. This thing is also on this flash. As I said, on the round head there's a bit of a flat and then it sort of goes into the round. Then we want to make sure that we actually light up this panel here and show that there is a bit of a recess on a screen, because that is part of the product. Let's get another one in. I'm just going to turn this on. I'm going to drop it down a little bit. Make sure it doesn't totally blast that out. Turn it. Okay. I'm going to bring this one a little bit more round here. So we got 4 lights here at the moment, so we're going to definitely look at how we're going to make sure we can get this one in a little bit there. I might even bring this one round a little bit. Should probably use a slightly longer arm on this one, but let's see what we can do. Now I'm going to be shooting from a different angle to where I was shooting the trigger from. So I want to make sure the tube lights are not going to be in the way. Alright. Just going to take this off and see what we've got on that one there. Still not in the right position on this one, so this one is taking a little bit longer to do. Maybe I should do that angle and then we can move this one back. Okay, what do we got there? Let's just see it's not in the way of my camera here. I know it's in the way of the video camera, because the video camera is in a totally different place. But we can just move this slightly there. Okay, so I want to see here. Just put it onto the other super source. I just want to see what we've actually got. Okay, so let's see what we've actually got in the shot. I think we've got that one right. I'll move this one. Around. And then you know why this type of product photography can take hours in getting the positions right. I'm going to just power on the flash. Let's see what brightness we got this on. And now you can actually shoot these at least slightly underexposed as well, because you can bring up all your, let's just go and bring up a menu on the back of the trigger. Now it's also got a plastic protection on the back of this trigger flash as well. Okay, I will come back to that one. Let's see what we can get in that. Just go back to our other view. I'm just going to turn it around. I'm going to take a test shot with this one. I'm going to make sure. Alright. So with this one we can definitely bring that around a little bit more. Give us a bit more rim light there. I don't want to see that reflection in the... So this reflection that's actually coming across here is obviously from this tube. So we want to get this into position where it's actually not going to create that reflection, but we want enough light in there. I might actually even put this behind, give myself a little bit more rim. And coming in closer there. Okay. Let's just see the head. Then we need our Godox brand actually lit up as well. Any questions? Alright, let's see if we've got enough light on our Godox. And we got enough light. No, we don't have enough light on our Godox, but we definitely have a nice rim light. And I want to bring this one probably a little bit more round. There as well. I don't think this stand can go any lower than it can go right now. I might just move it around a little bit. And that light is actually going to be in the way there. Let's get it around this side. Nice thing about these plastic tubes is we can just move it along. Still don't think there's going to be enough light in the Godox part, but I want to make sure we got the rim on the top, and we've got down the side. So we can use, I'm going to show you the difference between the silver side and that's the silver side. Let's see if we get okay, so the silver is bringing up enough light in to light the Godox. I still want to get a little bit more light actually on this side. Because I want to try and get light actually in on the locking mechanism. And every time I do this, it's the lights are in a totally different place. It's always the same on that. Let me just move this one around a bit. Get a little bit more on the side, feather it. Okay. Still don't seem to have enough light actually on the bottom. So I'm going to take this one, drop it in here, and hopefully I can move it in enough and point it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm trying to get a little bit more light actually into the actual bottom which we have there. So on the one side we got that. This is actually the locking screw. I just want to make sure we're getting just a bit of light, enough light just to bring up in the shadows and stuff in on that. Okay, maybe just a little bit more. Just bring that light in, and it's absolutely just micro adjustments on these. Let me have a look at, let me just zoom into this one we've got on the screen. Okay, so we've definitely got the rim, we've got the texture on the front, so the actual silver reflector is actually giving us a nice bit of bouncing on there. We do have on the locking, which we can bring up on the shadows, and we can see there, the light's just falling off on the back slightly, which I will probably want to increase on, and also I'll probably just a little bit more where the infrared section is. So we can probably move our card over slightly, bring this light in a little bit closer. How are we doing for time? Trying to do 2 product shots in 1 hour is like cool. So let me have a look at this one quickly before I wrap up. So we've got that. Let me just look at the shadows on here. I'm just going to see adjust, and just go into layers, contrast, exposure. Hey, the screen is flipping backwards and forwards. Where's the curves? There's our blacks. I'll just bring up. Don't want to bring that in too much, and I don't want to move this one. And definitely we can actually look at that one, and we can probably get away with doing something there. And as I said, with our back shot, I'm going to take this one shot, so I've at least got this. So we've at least got one back shot. So it is possible. Obviously trying to do 2 product shots in 1 hour is probably a bit of a stretch, but you get the drift. So the actual TL60s, you can actually do a lot of stuff with them. You can, I think some of them are roughly around about 80%, 70, 80% of the actual power. So it can be done. And obviously with a bit of help from a friend, these reflector boards and stuff, as I said, they come with silver on the front, so they're very reflective. There's my hand. And then you get the ones with the gold, and then on the back they're white. These things are gems in your product photography. And then for the tubes, if you want to diffuse any more than what the actual tube is, you can actually get this material. It's almost like softbox, the softbox material that you use for diffusing your softbox. You can throw that over your light, and then that would actually act as a diffuser to diffuse even more. And remember, if you do put a layer of diffusion on your tube, then you may need to pump up the power a little bit if you're needing, because the diffuser will actually require a little bit more power. So that is about it. I think the time is up on that. So I just want a big shout out to Tamba, who actually lent us this other camera that we can actually do the close-up and everything else, and all the advice and stuff they actually give us for streaming, as well as the streaming switches and everything else. So a big shout out to them. And any of the Godox gear that you see that maybe in my studio or stuff that you actually see online at www.godox.co.za. And as I said, you can fill up the birthday basket for me, use my coupon code and do a lacquer checkout for me, not a problem. I will accept it with open arms. But seriously, if you do want to get any of the Godox gear, go to www.godox.co.za, use my coupon code, which is over there, that you can then score a discount on any purchases. The same for Golden Power batteries. I find these little short boom arms an absolute gem in studio. I actually mount them on normal stainless steel stands, which I also get from Golden Power batteries. And they are just great, even for extending or just working in a smaller space. So they are absolutely great. So go and have a look at those on Golden Power batteries. And yep, that is about it. That's me checking out. I hope it was insightful. The first one sort of happened straightforward. The second one takes a bit of time because of time that we don't have, unfortunately. But you get the drift. What is this going on today? But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'm Carl Daniels, and we will see you again on Getting to Grips, brought to you by Godox SA and Golden Power Batteries. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.
Only need one scene, only need one scene, only need one.
Have you seen our creative bulb?
Add it to my cart.
You've got the camera. We've got everything else. Shop Godox SA for your production equipment.